the post on Facebook, and then when there's enough questions there, I come back and give you the answers. And so the answers are relevant to the MGR. And it was very successful in the GGR, and also we used to use it in the OGR as well. But because on our regular tracker updates, we've started a question and answer session at the end of the tracker, there wasn't as many opportunities to have these straightforward Q&A. But to get to those questions behind the tracker, it's a bit distracting for most people, and most people won't go there. But the Q&A sessions are specific; they're just answering the questions. So first thing I'll do is I'll just get these questions out of the way, and then the other thing I'll do. Gary is still approaching the breakwater here. He's probably going to arrive in a couple of days, so I'll give you a tracker update. But I'm going to do that at the end, not now, but tell you what's going on there. And if you've got any other questions, we're watching them on the. I can see the questions coming up. I see Christine's there already. So if this generates any other questions you've got, or you watching this live, I'll answer those questions at the end of it after I've given you the Gary update as well. So there's a combination of a whole lot of different things, and I'll try not to cough and splutter too much. Anyway, so coming back to the questions, Judy's got, this looks like a costly adventure. Do you have sponsors, or do you have to pay all expenses yourself? I'm assuming this is for the entrance, but I'll tell you our situation as well. From the entrance perspective, yes, it can be expensive. I can see total costs, depending on how you do it, for some entrants, say one boat and one entry to build their boat and get it around the world and have a nice time doing it. You could, if you wanted to, you could spend 150 grand, maybe even more. You could spend 200 grand for one boat, one entry. Okay, but it depends how you do it. Someone else could do it, and they would spend less than 100,000. Okay, that's including your boat. Just depends. Everyone's got a different take on it. But yes, it's expensive. But everything in life is expensive, and you've got to remember that the MGR. Not only do you have the time involved with building the boat and everything that goes with that, it's actually 13 months on the water, and you're going to some pretty exotic places around the world. So it's an investment in life, and it's an investment in, chasing dreams. A lot of people won't have that kind of money. A lot of people will, but they don't realize it, and they'll spend it on other things like cars and whatever. So it's a personal choice thing. But by comparison to anything else, if you want to do it cheap, there is no other around the world yacht race that you could do for such a price. And I'll bring up the fact on this one as well to give you an idea, and it's leading into the next question. The entry fee currently for this edition of the MGR was, I think it's €3,400. So €3,400 for some people is shit. That's a lot to join a race around the world. If you want to row across the Atlantic for 2 months, you'll pay €15,000. Okay, and where did we come up with the figure of 3,500? We just pulled it out of the sky. Okay? It has nothing to do whatsoever with cost recovery. Our budget for running this race, it'll be well the other side of 150, €160,000, and we have zero sponsors. Okay, so to answer the question from my perspective, or Jane and I's perspective, do we have to pay all expenses yourself, Jane and I? Yes, we do, and we're loving it. It's fantastic. And
no, I don't love it.
Jane just said she's not loving it. But anyway, it's what we do. We support adventure, and we've got a sound reason for that, which will come up in another question in a minute. I decided at 50 that I would put a lot of time, effort, and my own money into supporting adventure, and have no regrets at all. It's all kind of good. And all the adventures that we do, the MGR and the OGR and the others, people put a lot of money in. But what's life without? So that's a whole separate subject. But yeah, some of them have sponsors. Some people, I don't think. If you're lucky, if you get good enough sponsors, you can self-fund. But no one's getting paid huge wages, and their sponsors in the mini globe race. But certainly there's some nice partners in there, and there's some nice benefactors as well. So that's how it works. And as a by the way on that, you can expect the entry fees for the 2029 MGR will be at least 2 or 4 times the price, and even that's not going to be cost recovery. So there you go. Okay, next one. Phil, do you build the boat yourself? And if so, what did it end up costing in total, including plans, minus the painting and graphics? And I'll get a bit specific. Please acknowledge if any materials or equipment were sponsored. Thanks. That seems like a question specific to an entrant, but this is an organizer giving the answers, but I can give you a rough idea. You don't have to build the boat yourself. You can buy one. You know, they'll occasionally come on the market, and then you can get in cheap. But most people have built. I think there's only 3 that have been bought for the MGR, I think. To build the boat right now, if you are doing everything, like building from plans, not the kit, you could do it for about 35 grand. That's a reasonable budget to build your boat, get it in the water sailing with the gear you need to go sailing. And then you would spend at least another 15,000 or so getting the race equipment that you need, your comms, safety gear, bits and pieces. So you're up to about 50,000. And then you've got all your event costs and moving things around and food and accommodation and all that sort of stuff. So that's about it there. Plans are now 350. Plans have gone up. They used to be 300, but we decided it was time to go up. So minus the painting and the graphics. The graphics are usually well, anyway, everyone has their own plan on that. Please, no, you need a budget 35 to 15. 35 and another 15 to get ready to go, and you can make it more than that. When I did Tracker back in 21, my budget went out over about 65,000 or something like that. But I had Pitor help me build the hull and a few other things. So okay, next one from looks like can't read the nationality, but anyway, is it better to explain in Greek like Von der Globe in the end of the discussion? Boy, that's impossible. But we do have Greek on the websites. Okay, so if you're following any of our sites now, you can see there's English and French. The French on the static stuff is a human translation, but there's various languages which are auto-translate. You just hit the button up the top, hit the flag, and you can get it. So not sure what that one was. So sorry if it wasn't a good answer. Right, I've noticed that a lot of the boats are sailing downwind with 2 opposing head sails and the main down instead of wing and wing. Why is that? It's pretty obvious, because when the boat's sailing, if you're pulling from the front and all the wind for the reason they're getting good high average speeds is that the wind is well after the beam, if not right behind the boat. So you're getting pushed by the wind. So you put all your sail up the front, and it's pulling from the front. And it's helping the wind vane as well. So your standard rule is that keep putting everything. If the wind is after the beam, you want to make sure you've got everything you can up the front, like head sail, spinnakers, whatever, and then you adjust your main accordingly, like put more main up. But you want to get rid of the main as quick as you can. Different stages, 1 or 2 reefs if you're ahead of schedule, and keep them hanging more out the front, and it's more powerful. It's a lot faster. So, and the new A7, when I say new, it was developed specifically for only in the last year or something, is a winner for sure. It adds all sorts of combinations. You've got 3 different size asymmetrics, 3 different opportunities. Your head sail as well, boomed out, so you can do a lot of different combinations. But get rid of the main, keep that smaller, and keep everything up front bigger, as long as the wind's behind the beam. Okay, Rachel, apologies for the lack of. Oh, this one's the good one. I don't usually read the questions too much before I go, but this one's Rachel's given me a huge list, and I'm sure those more knowledgeable than I can answer this like myself. But here are a few general questions. I'll go through and give you a quick answer. There's about 20 in here. What has been your highlight of this leg in your adventure? See, again, the answer that we give on these Q&As doesn't come from an entrant. It comes from me, right, as the organizer. So the best highlight for this leg of the adventure was the start. The start in Antigua, fantastic, right? We'll be doing interviews with each of the entrants before they leave here. You've probably seen some of them already. And I'll be asking certain questions similar to these, I suppose. It will give you a feel for what each entrant went through for the leg. What's the funniest thing that's happened to you on this leg? or the funniest thing that's happened here. Oh, jeepers, everything's so funny. What's the funniest, jeepers, Jane, what's the funniest things that's happened? Huh? Don't ask me, I don't know. Oh, jeepers, I got to think now. What was funny? There was something really funny. There's been a few things. Oh, I'll come back to that. I'll have to take it on notice because we think of, for us, life is always fun and funny. But to try and think of one thing now that's the funniest thing, because my head's in too many places. I can't answer that yet. Anyway, what was your most challenging point of this leg? The drive in the car last night. We had a bit of a challenge yesterday. Poor Renaud. Renaud got a bit stressed out with the move of the boat. Bit of a long story, but suffice to say, he sat on the trailer at the end when it was all loaded and the boat couldn't move. Anyway, and in the end, we had to give him a free taxi ride, which took 5 hours. Long story. So that was very challenging for us because it wasn't scheduled, and we were happy when it was all over. But so Renaud got to the other side, and that was challenging. Anyway, what was your lowest point of this leg? Probably last night in the car ride. What would you have done differently this leg if you were to do it again? I would have told Renaud to get a taxi. Okay. What is your best meal on board this leg? Oh, jeepers. Funny thing happened, this virus. I can't remember the last time this ever happened, but it sort of lost your appetite. It was really weird. I've had about 5 days eating very little food. Kind of strange. But no, the lowest point in the MGR. I'll get back to serious. Probably there weren't any. The lowest point. No, there weren't any. I've never been worried about any of the boats in the Transat or here. You see the weather's really good, like everything's very low risk. I was really surprised what happened to Kerry. That was pretty dramatic. Shipping 600 litres of water down below or something. That was very, very interesting. But no low points as such. It's all high points. So I honestly can say there were no low points from us as an organiser so far yet. Okay. And is that the question, or am I losing things here? What we've done, the most challenging point of this leg. Have I lost the plot here? Now I've got it. Hang on. What was your most challenging point of this leg? That was the term. What was the lowest point of the leg? That's it. Yeah. What would you have done differently this leg if you were to do it again? Again, I can only answer from our point. No, everything's fine. One of the things that is happening with the MGR is just like the entrants who are doing this for the very first time, as organisers, we are doing this for the very first time as well. And so there's got to be a bit of give and take both ways. And the issue of transporting the boats has worked out really well. And I think under the circumstances, everyone's done a fantastic job, because we started trying to liaise and coordinate all of this back in June of last year. And Shelter Bay have been pretty good. They've been working through, but then they ran into challenges as well. And they had to pull the pin a few weeks ago, literally, when we were in Antigua, just before we were about to start. They said, sorry, we can't do much. And it's like, oh, jeepers, this is crazy. So, and you can't come here and do it, until you're on the ground. So fortunately then, after they signed off and we had nothing organised except for some trucks on standby, which were going to be expensive, it was going to run out at about maybe $1,500 US or more per boat. I had a freight logistics, unusual freight logistics trucks on standby, a company with 38 trucks. They were our last fallback position. And it could have been, they never quoted, but I would have thought it's going to be about, up to 2,000 a boat or something like that. Anyway, fortunately, through Shelter Bay Marina, up pops our guy, Jose, here, and they made the contact, and we got onto him, and he was really switched on, and there was one small misunderstanding at the beginning. The boats, he thought the boats were a lot lighter than they were, so the first trailer was no good, and he immediately came back with two much bigger trailers, perfect trailers, and then quickly modified them, put them on. It's been challenging for Shelter Bay as well, because we gave them a schedule of loading and unloading, And of course, that's really hard because we lost the schedule as soon as the first trailer was knocked out, and it's all been delayed to a couple of days. And they're really busy. I had no idea this marina was going to be so busy as what it really is. They got boats coming and going every day, waiting for the canal. Like when I say boats, there could be 20, 30 boats in one day, 40 boats, boom, boom, in and out. I think their biggest day, they said they had like 100 something boats in and out in one day. Anyway, so through all of that, it's happening. It's getting tight with the timeline. We've delayed the start of day, but in hindsight now, even Jose, he's set up the cradles on the trailers so they can be the supports cradling the boat on the trailer are bolted on, right? So you can unbolt them and keep them, because I said, look, we'll be back in 4 years and you can use exactly the same trailers and it'll be a lot easier. So that was a bit nerve-wracking, but I never worried. And in the end, the transit fee's $750 US, which is a fraction of what it could have cost. So we're very grateful. The people are doing all the care and understanding. So that's good. Best meal, I'll forget that. What was your worst meal? I'll forget that. Food here's cheap. All American dollars, supermarkets loaded with stuff, everything you can imagine, and its prices are very, very favourable. So it's a good place to stock up, that's for sure, before you go across the Pacific. Which job on board your boat do you love the most? I can't answer that. Which job on board do you dislike the most? Can't answer that. If you could summarise the leg of how many hours sleep? No, this is different. Everyone sleeps differently. What is their favourite sail to date? I can't tell you. Sweet that. How many days do you think the next? Cheapest. We could do a personal flag for the boat. Oh boy, how many? Shapers. What's your top speed? Well, you can follow the speeds, but the 600-mile day. Sorry, not 600. 160-mile day was the fastest anyone got. That was Adam. That was assisted by the current. But 135-mile day average is not bad. What was your favourite meal? What the bloody destination are you most looking forward to visiting? No, I can't get there. What motivated you to take part? 40, busy. You've been adding questions. Japers. Has there ever been any thoughts about reading? Oh, no, can't. But that's enough of that one. Doesn't make sense. So you're hiding one question. I'll give up on that one. Okay. Next one was for Marek, and I tend to agree. Is about my political post, and I'll answer that. I deleted one other question because it wasn't a question; it was a bit of abuse on a similar subject. But I got to put it to you like this: that my views on Ukraine and so on go right back to 1991 and the Yugoslav War, and I've been actively involved, personally following some issues in Europe for many, many years, a big part of my life. And I was nearly physically sick that morning. Anyway, part of the reason that I support adventure, and it goes like this: back in the 60s and 70s, there was peace and love, and save the world and all that sort of stuff. I genuinely support adventure because I believe adventure makes really good people. Right? When you get involved with adventure, you take on some characteristics which gives you a lot of confidence. It makes you a reasonable communicator. Makes you understand risk assessment, value judgment, and because the adventures themselves take place in the natural world, you have a really good understanding and feeling for the environment. Right, it's all part of what goes, and that means that those people that have done that become strong characters, and they become the entrepreneurs and the business leaders and community leaders and so on. Similar things you used to get out in Boy Scouts and this, that, and the other. And dare I say it, they become politicians as well, because the world needs good people. So it's not as if we're saying that we're doing this to save the world, stop the wars and this, that, and the other. But that's exactly why we do it, to make good people. And the world right now is needing good people. And when you believe in something strongly, that's it. And I wanted to point out that politics already is in sport, because I got really annoyed with the fact that because of the war in Russia, I felt obligated to reject sailors coming into the Golden Globe race and the Ocean Globe race and the Mini Globe race. The guy that wanted to join the Mini Globe race, I was shattered, because he'd spent a lot of time and money building his boat. He is Russian, but he seems to be a really nice guy, and he's not associated with all that shit. And I have to say, bugger off. and he was mortified. And I looked at every way. This is the mini guide race. Every way I could try and get him into, sort of like, register your boat somewhere else, this, that, and the other. It was just horrible. And so sometimes I get pissed off as well. And so that's where that came from. Anyway, long story. And I wouldn't have kicked out of any Americans either. I was just pointing to the fact that the other thing is I've got quite a few Russian friends and I've got quite a few Ukrainian friends, and I've got a lot of American friends. Because when you work on the ships in Antarctica, you'll find a lot of the officers are Ukrainian. I spent years on Russian ships with beautiful Russian people in and out of Antarctica, 20 seasons in Antarctica, so very complicated. Anyway, there it is. So I think that was the last question. Yes, it was. All right, so that's the end of those Q&As. Now I'm going to go straight across and give you an update on the tracker. So I'll just hit this button here, and then after that we'll come back and answer any questions that are there now. So you should be looking at the tracker, and I'm looking at the tracker here. That's not the current weather. So you can see there's only one little bolt there, and that's question 2. I'm going to pick it up here. You can see how far he's gone. There he is right there. I'll just build it up. He's very happy to get underway, of course, and you probably heard his phone conversation. He's missing the family. Looking forward to getting here, and we want to see him here as fast as possible. So he's been having a reasonably good sail. That's the good news. Hang on, I'll just put him on there. I'm trying to highlight his course. You can't really. So I'll scrap that, and we'll just go from here. He's got a nice breeze at the moment. He's doing 4.4 knots. He's done 100 miles. He's been pretty much sitting on 100 miles every day. So it's now local time here is getting close to it's 11 o'clock. So it's getting close to midday. And this position was the 14th at 2 o'clock. So that's let's see. I've got to do my calculations again now. So UTC 2 o'clock, so 4. Yeah, it's pretty current. That's all right. And he's got distance to finish 204 miles. So we'll have a look at the weather and see what's going to happen to the wind in the next 2 days, because it usually goes a little bit light as you close the coast. So I'll turn that down here and see if we can see him. There he is there. Here we go. I'm going to put that on to give us a reference. And then I push this forward. Here we go. He's got reasonable breeze right coming in close. That's on to the 15th at 10 o'clock. So yep, he's got a nice breeze for the first day, and then it's going to go quiet. Yeah. So he'll do another 100 miles. So it'll be 100 miles out, and it's going to go quiet on the 15th. Yeah, it's on to the 16th. Jeepers. Because he's going to have to face the current, but hopefully he's up there, so it's a bit quiet on the 16th, and then it's coming back in again. Still the 16th, 14th, 15th, 16th. It's very average, so I hope he cracks his kites and get it going, so it starts to fill in on the 17th. All right, so let's just have a look at the currents and see if he's above or below it. Jeepers, he's okay, but he's going to have to go right through that. So he'll be coming down this way, and he's going to bang into it. So he's going to do about an 80-mile day tomorrow, and then he's going to go slow and sit in it. And this is moving nearly a knot there. So he's going to be very slow on Sunday. And then so it's going to be sometime Monday, which is the worst possible time here for us because we have to move across to the other side. And anyway, we'll wait and see. But I would say now Gary's probably going to arrive sometime around midday or Monday morning. Sometime Monday morning, we might see him here. So we'll give you some updates just as a post, what's going on. We'll just put a post with a picture and a thing up and just give you the update for those that are following Gary. He'll be happy to get here. His plan is everyone's got a schedule to go across on the trailers. And at the moment, I forget who booked him. I think it was Jasmine, or a couple of them booked Gary on, and his slot is for Monday, so he's not set to go across on the trailer until Monday because he's got a anti-foul of the boat. He didn't paint it when he was in Antigua because the paint was a bit expensive. That's $700 US for 4 litres of paint. So he's looking to pull the boat out and paint the bottom. He's got to pull the mast down, get it ready to go. There'll be people to help him with all of that, but then the others will have to bail out across to the other side. So, and the start day is set for Monday week, and that's when he would be on the trailer coming across. That's how it stands at the moment, but I'll go down there. We're looking at a few options today to see if we can juggle some boats further forward and get Gary onto a trailer. Maybe on the last Saturday before the start or something, so that we could at least get him across and get his mast up, and then it'll be easier, because if everyone's gone, it's going to be difficult for him to get the mast up and so on by himself when he's there. So still working on those issues. It'll all be fine, so don't stress. We're all having fun, and that's a good place to be. So that's Gary's situation there, and I'll just quickly go through. See who's here. G'day, Christine. How are the South Atlantic wind vanes doing? They're okay. The challenge is, they're okay. The challenge is that the hydrovane is going so well that people are looking at with and eyeing the opportunities if they got the budget. So Peeler is now just waiting for her hydrovane to arrive, and I think, I'm not sure exactly when, but as soon as it does, she'll whack that on as well. So she'll be into a hydrovane, which is a good thing for her, because that's what she wanted to do, but she was short of money as well. But I've got to say, there's nothing wrong with the South Atlantic. It does the job, but there's some aspects of the hydrovane that people are liking. And my attitude, I had a big chat to Kerry about this, and Kerry's race has been amazing, because he, as you know, he had some very dramatic incidents in this race, this leg of the race. Shipped a lot of water, lost his solar panels, did all sorts of stuff, had no wind vane whatsoever, and also had some other challenges. So, and he turned up 5 hours behind Renaud. So Renaud's sweating a bit, because I can tell you, if that drama hadn't happened, well, maybe things could have changed. But that's yacht racing. That's how it works. Everyone understands that. But he, weight is everything on the boat. Kerry has no pillows, sleeps on a yoga mat, all the rest of it. Okay, and he doesn't have a heavy hydrovane on the back. And we had a big chat the other day about this, and he's got some ideas about the future, not for this leg of the road, not for this edition of the thing, but my very first wind vane was a Navic wind vane, and if someone had a Navic wind vane now on a 580, the boat, I wanted to stay light. The Navic would go around the world, no sweat, and it's super sensitive, super fast, super powerful, weighs nothing, all the rest of it. And the hydrovane is the South Atlantic. It's not super heavy. It's got all the design elements you need on a wind vane. Okay, for a survey pendulum wind vane, and they work perfectly well when you know how to use them and you know how to make them fly. Right, and that's the only way I can try to describe it. There is a whole article. If you go to the news sections of the where did I put it on the MGR? I think it is. It's called, I forget what it's called now, Making Your Wind Vanes Fly. They try to explain what that means, and most people don't get it. And we had entrants turning up who'd never used a wind vane before and expected to just sort of go. It doesn't work like that. It's art and science and so on. It's like sailing itself, sailing shape, and combinations and balance and trim and all that sort of stuff. When you get it, your wind vane will do what it's meant to do. It's not meant to sail in all situations perfectly straight line. You've got to work with it, and when you do, it's fine, right? So yeah, whole subject in itself. But the South Atlantics are just a fine wind vane. There's nothing wrong with them at all. You have to maintain them. You have to learn how to fly them. It's just the same as you have to learn how to sail your boat. And when you do, when you get that right, if you want to stay light, then there's some advantages. And anyway, Kerry might be talking. He said, I think I might build my own wind vane, And I said, get onto the Navic and look at that. Some people have tried to build some groups got together and they built like 10 similar ones, because they stopped making them a long time ago. Anyway, all good fun. Any idea my stainless steel will be Matt, hull number I don't know. Jane, have we got anyone waiting for stainless steel set? Eh?
Ours already.
Oh, he's already answered. Jane's already answered you on that one. So that's good. Someone must be getting ready to fit their rudders and stuff. On hull 235. Oh, that's early. That's why. Okay, due to the new large production backlog, our stainless steel order, there it is, relatively small, has been placed further down their priority list. Hopefully the stainless steel package will be out by the end of this month. That's cool. Yeah, it's hard to keep up. Because we have for those that don't know, the stainless steel back on the boats is the stem head fitting, the chain plates, the rudder gudgeons and pintles, the backing builder's plate. There's a builder's plate on the inside of the transom that backs the top gudgeons and stuff. It's got a little loop in it, and none of the owners realise what the loop in it there is for. It's to put the name of the boat and when it was commissioned and so on. Like a commissioning plate. It's very funny. And your bowsprit fittings as well, and all your backing plates and winch pads and so on. And they're all machined CNC machined out of solid stainless steel block. Right, so the gudgeon is like this long, blah, blah, blah. Starts off with a lump of stainless steel, and the whole lot's machined out. That way, there's no welds to give up or fracture or crack or anything like that. Touch wood. So that's pretty straightforward. Well, here we go. We got a little post I would like to raise as background. Adventure is part of my DNA, and so is international politics. We follow very closely. We all have our opinions and sometimes get quite passionate about things. Yeah, too true. Thanks. Don Way trailer used to ship the boats across the Pacific. Local trailer is one that you shipped in. No, Stuart, it's a local trailer. The local guy here, Jose, really nice guy. In fact, he's going to be, if all goes well, he'll be a big part of the start day. Anyway, he has 8 charter boats here. He charter boats and does trips around on the Pacific side. He's based on the Pacific side. So he's got lots of trailers and boats and crews. They do different things, and he's connected us with a sailing guy over there. And we were going to have a Le Mans start over there, where everyone's in the car park and they have a drink to have a toast to Jean Guswell and Tracker and all that sort of stuff. And then they go down from there and get on their boats and off. They're away. So down to the marina they go whenever they're ready. But it looks like we might be having a start line now. Coconuts here, ready to go, sort of thing, and a few other bits. And they're just going to ask them on where's the best place for a start line, because it's sort of calm weather over there. Excuse me, a lot of traffic and so on. But anyway, Jose's offered to get us boat for the so we do the lives from that as well and so on. So so it's a local chap here. I need you guys to make a video of approximate captain's budgets for this race. Boat building totals, logistics. Oh boy, no, it's too hard. We're not going to do that. But anyway, because it varies. As I said, someone could, probably the top budget that I know someone's spending because they're having a ball will probably be 250 grand, right? So if you've got 250 grand you want to spend, go for it. Others are going to spend much, much less, as I said. And you can, draw your own conclusions. You can do your own list. It's not hard. Everything that you're seeing, that's all the costs you got to go through. And, a lot of them go into the hotel. On the marina, we're in a hotel in Cologne because it's cheaper than Shelter Bay Marina. And we need a car anyway because we'll be back and forwards a lot. We already have been. Takes you an hour or so to drive if you're not going behind the boat at 60k. Takes you an hour to drive to the other side, down the freeway, pay the tolls. The hotel on the marina, I think, is about 160. How much was the hotel one? 140 US or something? Yeah, 140 US. We're paying 100 US here. Oh, we've got to come to clean our room. We're paying 100 or something, including breakfast. And that's fine. So, but you can. Some of them are living on their boats as well, and so on. So it goes. So then you've got, make your own list, and you'll come up with what it is. So it's not not rocket science. Okay, let's say that I'm interested in that for future projects. Oh, this is for you. No, well, that's okay. So SV Stargate, if you're going to do the race, and I get this all the time, I get so many people inquire about doing the Gold Globe race, and they say, "Oh, can you tell us how much it's going to cost, and what I got to do here, and can you give me any advice?" This and the other. Well, often I'll go back and say, "So look, get the notice of race, read every page, do your own list on the boat, what you got to get, and how you're going to get it. Look at the catalogs, work out what the prices are. It's all about lists, right? And no one can decide it for you. And anyone that gives you numbers, you can never trust it, because then they say, I thought it was going to cost that, but it's double the price. Well, guess whose problem that is? It's your problem, because you didn't do the numbers right. So don't listen to what other people say. But I would suggest, as I said, about a realistic, if I was building a boat, I'd use the kit. So that's going to add, probably about $6,000 or something to the cost of your boat. So instead of 50, you're going to have 56. I would still buy a trailer for my boat. So you're going to move it around. You get a second-hand one, modify one, build it yourself, buy a brand new one, which will cost you another $6,000 or something. So, and then you want all the sails. The cost of the sails is, I think that's even on the website. You got to work out how many sails you want, and then you can do it in style, or you can do it as a backpacker, and just work out your bits and pieces. But don't get scared by the price. This is the other thing, that get a good understanding of what the price is you think it's going to cost you to do the race. And it might be, we say 65,000 for the boat, right? And then you work out the entry fee. The entry fee in the next race, people are going to get shocked and pissed off and say, "How can you do that?" I'll tip you off. You're the first ones to hear this. We think the entry fee, because we're getting set up in probably in the next month, we'll probably open applications for the next MGR, notice of race and stuff, and it'll be there'll be two prices. Okay, if you built your boat, you get one shot to do the events as a subsidised entry if you're the builder, right? And we think it'll be €9,000, right? If you built your boat. And this is my estimate, right? If you bought your boat, it'll be €12,000 to do the race. Okay. If you're sponsored, it's a 50% surcharge on that. So if you've bought your boat for $12,000 and you are sponsored in the next MGR, it'll cost you another $6,000. So it's going to cost you €18,000 to do the round the world race. Oh, jeez, that's crazy. It's only $3,000 now. Oh, there's a 50% surcharge for that if you're sponsored. So $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. But that's the way it works, and that is still incredibly cheap. Okay, if you want to do it, it's just that we're reviewing everything now, making it far more realistic. Because, as I say, we are supporting this, and if I told you by the time the MGR's over, we will have personally invested probably 250, well over €200,000 on developing the 580 class. Right? People say, "Geez, he's a nut." Why would you spend $200,000 just to have the 580 there? It's easy, because there's a lot of people having a lot of fun, and so are we. And if I told you I spent $800,000 to go to live in a year, live in a box of total isolation in Antarctica one time, you'd think I was nuts. So would I, but I did. Anyway, that's how it works. So yeah, you how do I get onto entry fees? But yeah, just add those sort of numbers. But entry fee, if you build your boat, won't be any less than €9,000, and if you're sponsored, it's another 50% on top of that. And just to remind you again, row across the Atlantic costs you $15,000 for 2 months, right? Sail around the world with us. It's for a lot of months, and a lot of involvement and all sorts of things. Anyway, so good luck with the future project, eh? I look forward to seeing you there. Sorry I'm late. Excellent skipper's interview. Asked Jasmine about her knowledge of currents as a rower. Hit the like button. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Jonathan. Actually, that's a good point. Once again, hit the like button and follow and this, that, and the other, because I see the people who are actually, and the comments when they put emotions on. I can go behind the back and you see whether people are have liked or subscribed, or whether I can invite them. And I usually invite them. I just press buttons to invite everyone. We're running at about 17% of people who actually have liked. We're about 6,800 now, but most people still haven't liked us. So just like us and follow us and stuff like that. That'd be cool. Jasmine's having a ball. She's loving the jungle. There's some amazing jungles on the way down to the marina there. It's just intense, really beautiful. She's out running in there all the time with a machete for personal protection. And there's some cool animals here too. I saw this thing last night. I have no idea what it was. It was like a cross between a kangaroo and a cat and a weasel and a whatever band. I don't know what it was. It was this weird looking animal. I have to look it up online. Some of the build blogs have got cost breakdowns. Yeah, you're right. There's some builders kept absolute detailed records of their build time and their expenses and all that sort of stuff, so you can go to that, but don't overthink it. Oh, that's what I didn't find. I said, don't let the price worry you, because you're never going to have all that money when you start, right? But if you get started on the boat, you'll have the money to buy your plywood, and then you'll find the money to buy your bloody deck gear, and then you'll find the money to pay for the mast and the sails. It starts to fall into place, right? But if you, in life with anything, if you look at the big picture, you'll never get started. It's too scary. Right, so just decide whether you really want to do it, and if you do, just get started. It'll happen. It's always the way. Terence, my point is that if somebody wants to build a 580 and join in the fund, what assurances can there be that their country will be disfavoured in the future, therefore would be excluded? Oh, get a life. Let's hope that country doesn't have a war and starts doing really bad things, and then world sailing decides that, and the rest of the world, every country in the world says that they would, in the Western world, says they'll adopt the policy of not allowing national entries and things like that, because that's what happened. And I wasn't bold enough, I nearly was, for a couple of reasons, to not follow the recommendation of allowing Russian entries, right? We discussed it because I have some partners in other events, and I respect that. And their position. They never gave us any guidelines or anything like that, but we're responsible. I'm a normal human being, and I agree in principles at the time, the same thing, but I hated doing it nonetheless. And my conscience wouldn't allow me to, I worked hard on the guy with the mini road race. I thought, geez, what are we going to, blah, blah, blah. There was nothing we could do, because that's life, that's how it works. And politics is in sport. That's how it works, So might have missed the beginning of the live. How are you feeling, Don? Yeah, I'm okay. We're okay. We feel a lot better than a lot of other people in the world. We just a weird one, partly because of travel and stuff. Who knows? I reckon the air conditioning doesn't help either, but it's hot out there. Jonathan, money well spent. Don, you have a lot to be proud of. Oh, thanks, mate. Yeah. Don, a starting question. Do any of the skippers use telltales on the trim sails? Yeah, absolutely. The sails the quantum sails are really nice sails. They're doing a great job, and they come with all the relevant telltales on the sail, so you can actually fly the sail really nicely. And whilst ocean voyaging is not like round the buoys racing, not super intense. When you're sailing around the world, you suggest that to Renaud, and he'll disagree. he's up there, even though he's down below cooking his cakes and this, that, and the other. He'll be up there trimming the sails. And as an idea, my favourite one is Tapio Lettman from the GGR and the OGR. Lifelong sailor, did the Whitbread race when he was a young guy, and then did the first GGR as a slow guy because all the barnacles, and then he did the GGR again in 22, but lost his boat, it sunk, Asteria, and then he did the OGR in Galliana. His rule was that no one's allowed to have a conversation about anything unless the sails are perfectly trimmed. This is the guys on watch. They've got to trim the sails, get everything flying perfectly, telltales correct, all that sort of stuff, and only then are they allowed to talk about anything other than sailing, right? Like working on a boat. And if he'd come up on deck and they're chatting away. Look at the trim, and boy, they'd be in trouble if it wasn't right. I've got to tell you. So yes, you can't. The trim of the sails and the quality of the sails is all about speed, and it's important. Has the issue of spreader split been resolved? Well, yes and no. I've got to say the entrance themselves, we haven't had a lot to do with this other than asking Selden to have a look at the engineering again, base it on a heavier boat and stuff. And they did all that and just said runners on harder and faster. That was all. But anyway, the entrance got together, and there was a very good welder lady in Antigua, and they basically reinforced the base of the spreader, right? Wrapped more material around and welded it on and re-drilled holes to match it all, and then painted them and everything. They look fantastic. And so they're probably 3 times as strong. My immediate reaction was, oh, this will be interesting, because I've seen this in another situation where you make that point so strong. What's the next point that's going to break if there's something wrong? But I'm not hearing any problems with that. So anyway, there's plenty of spares on boats now. There's lots of spare spreaders, lots of modified spreaders, this and the other. So I'm not hearing any big discussion on any issues with the spreaders and stuff. So everyone's been pretty good on that one. Okay, has the issue of the spreaders been resolved? So yeah, they're still sailing the boat the same way. Watch this space. I think it'll be interesting to see. I don't know where it's going to go going forward, but I'm not too worried about it having an impact on losing a mast. Touch wood, touch wood, touch wood. But anyway. Hey Trish, yeah, you should be asleep. Captain Joe, you guys feeling okay? Yeah, we're good. We're good. Might not look healthy, but there you go. We are. Okay, that's it. So thanks for that. We'll keep it going. We're going down there now, and I'll try to do some more interviews today, and we'll see you all again soon. See you later.
Witness history in the making. The McIntyre Mini Globe Race 2025. Small boat, huge adventure.